Welcome everybody to Greater Conversations, an opportunity for us to discuss local real estate matters. For this one, we have brought in two fantastic guests from our Northern Nevada real estate community. I'd like to first introduce Gary MacDonald. He is the 2021 president of the Reno Sparks Association of Realtors and is also a realtor with Dickson Realty. Gary, thank you for joining me today.
Nick, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to see you, even in this format.
Yeah, absolutely. And then a very long time friend of mine. I think we're closing in on 2 decades, Erin, of working with each other. And that's been a fantastic time for me. Erin Schiller, 2021 affiliate director with the Reno Sparks Association of Realtors and the vice president and regional sales executive with Ticor Title. Erin, great to see you as always.
Thanks, Nick. It's great to know you as long as I have. You are a true professional.
I appreciate that very much.
Yep.
So,
we're not old or anything.
Right, exactly. The intent of Greater Conversations, as a reminder, is again just to bring in those who are leaders in our real estate community to discuss a topic and talk through for the benefit of both fellow people in the industry as well as clients and borrowers out there who could glean information about what's going on. And with that, we're coming out of 2020, which could be a variety of sayings, memes, or whatever it might be. But what we all know, it was an unprecedented year of change in people's personal lives, change in people's professional lives. Our real estate industry certainly had to adapt quickly. And we're not here to go over everything that went down in 2020, but instead to look forward and say, what did we learn or what did we start to change in 2020 that we're going to see more evidence of in 2021? What's going to be some changes we might see? And what are some improvements that may come to fruition as a result of what transpired in 2020? So with that, Erin, if you don't mind, I'll start with you. What comes to top of mind when you think about where we're headed this year and what we might see differently?
I'm excited for 2021. And I think even in 2020 and years before that, I was really kind of hoping we would be going in this direction, which is engaging and accepting the digital marketing, the digital position that we are in, because this is the wave of the future. As Nick and I have done some business together, we were one of the first companies to start a program called Pavaso, if you remember, Nick. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of ahead of its time in some aspects, where people were digitally signing their loan documents. Well, this has kind of forced the 2020 market and time, and during this pandemic, created this opportunity for everyone to look forward to how are we doing our business. And it's kind of exciting because our company too has kind of said, you know what, we got to go forward instead of backwards. And we were staying stagnant in our industry. And I think the real estate community in whole was kind of stagnant. So I'm excited about, all of the new products, services, things that everyone's providing, and the fact that we've been able to pivot and change and adapt to the way we're doing our business. If it's from home, one of the things I'll share with you is that it was definitely something for our company, a big change where our management is saying, no. Our staff needs to be coming into work 8 to 5. Well, we were forced to send people home to work from home. And actually that has been a huge opportunity as a business for us. And now we're seeing that there are people that can work from home and we can do this. It might be a little bit different in 2021. Definitely, I'm looking forward to all of that. So that's kind of my take as far as what we might see in the future.
Erin, would it be fair to summarize that a bit by saying that we had become stagnant from a digital engagement standpoint in this industry? We knew where we were going to go, but there was no pressure to get there. And then 2020 really created a new table stakes for enhanced digital engagement for the transaction.
Absolutely. I mean, it forced even our escrow staff, our title staff, everyone in the real estate community in a whole, the real estate agents, if they wanted to survive, they had to have a digital marketing plan. And I would say 2021, you must have a digital marketing plan as well. Because if we're going to be staying home and watching social media or watching television or being on our computers most of the time, this is the wave of the future. But it's been exciting because there's so many opportunities. Don't look at it as a negative, look at it as a positive for us. And, I had to be forced myself. I'm a kiss baby, shake hands type of person. Yeah, and I completely changed my business, but I did it very quickly and I was able to adapt. And I think adaptation, you have to adapt to everything if you want to survive in the real estate community.
Yeah, many a famous quote around that idea, right? In terms of the realtor community, Gary, we talked a little bit there with Erin about transactional, digital engagement. What are you seeing from the realtor side that you guys are working on, whether it's just within your realtor group and as well as engagement transactionally moving forward?
Well, I think the biggest change, and we're doing it right now, is the method of meeting and the method of being able to get together safely in this video world or audio world, just being able to connect with a great group of people, keep in touch and being able to cover topics, meetings, and so forth. Our association is moving forward with a blended format. And what that will enable us to do is we have a building and we have meeting rooms that we would rent out, we would use for education, for continuing education for the general realtor population, and post-licensing education for those who have just come into the business. And so we have just spent some money and we are going to be able to do a blended format. So as the vaccinations take place and as we can move back, if we choose, to a little bit different, to more of the old school way of meeting in person, to Erin's point, kissing baby, shaking hands, hugging, having a glass of wine together. Once that is, once we're able to do it, there's still going to be a number of people who are going to say, hey, look, I've really gotten used to being able to come to a meeting digitally. I want to continue to be able to do that. So the association has spent money on our meeting room to do some chairs that keep the social distancing safer and to be able to present a meeting both live and digitally going forward. So that's one of the things. Mm-hmm. The other thing in our industry is we have experienced a huge influx of people wanting to move here. And there's a number of different reasons for that. But again, being able to work from home, being able to meet and do the job. I'll give you an example. My niece works for a movie studio down in LA. Right now, she's living in upstate New York. She still works every day. My nephew, her brother, is a financial advisor for a big company in Boston. But when he gets to go home, he can work from home. And that's, I think, a really nice outcome of this. Sure. A year ago, I never heard of Zoom. I never heard the concept of Zoom. I had done FaceTime with my family and some other different things, but this format has enabled us to continue to do business, and I think we're getting better.
Yeah, and ultimately, all those pay forward to the client in the end. When your members of your association are able to adapt and find ways to continue to meet their continuing education, work through discussions of current environment, that ends up paying forward out to the clientele with enhancements of how we can engage and handle them with transactions. Wouldn't you agree? Absolutely.
I started in the real estate business. I didn't stay in it consecutively, but I started in the 70s in a community that had no multiple listing service, had no lock boxes on a home. We'd go from office to office to get keys. I lived in a community where we might get 6 feet of snow, and that I'm not exaggerating. We might get 6 feet of snow, and we did it basically the hard way. So we have all kinds of tools now to assist our agents and to assist our buyers and sellers in this particular marketplace to allow business to happen, to open up the world to what Northern Nevada holds, and continue to move forward. Like Erin, like you, I'm excited for 2021. interest rates are going to stay low, right, Nick?
It's a strong market. That's the safest way to put it, right? Let's cover one more thing in conclusion, because I appreciate the comments that have come up already. What are we seeing? And Gary, you can talk to this first, and then Erin, just from your perspective, working with many realtors, I know you hear things, so you can make your concluding remarks after Gary. But I know there's been like virtual open houses, and then and that's kind of been a new dynamic to try to help people, but also in terms of the houses they're looking for. I've heard comments that I've never heard before, which is when people go in, they're not as interested in maybe a playroom or some other kind of use of space. They're really looking at homes now with a genuine question: where do I put the office? Which has not been a dominant and prevailing question. So just a couple of those topics to end here, Gary. What have you seen or heard or worked with directly on what people are looking for, and then how they're able to look at it right now in our current environment?
Work from home, I believe, is going to be here to stay, especially for certain businesses, because it makes so much sense. I don't know how the office market's going to be doing in the future. I really can't tell about that, because with companies being able to do this process and work this way, I do know this. People come and they do look at homes differently. They're coming from different places, and you can do no more than go to a Lowe's or a Home Depot or an Ace Hardware on a weekend, and the people who are intending to be in their home are improving their home. We're seeing all kinds of demands on subcontractors, electricians, plumbers, people that can go in and tear down a kitchen, tear it out, redo it. People want their home space to be special. So in addition to an office, if we're going to be home all the time, how am I going to teach my kids if I have children? How am I going to do my day-to-day business? Is there a noise issue in the neighborhood that I need to deal with? All kinds of different things. But one of the things that I've learned so well in sales, there is no greater ability to adapt than you'll see in a realtor. They are going to find a way. They're going to find a way to get it done. And they're going to find a way to serve the clientele on both sides of the transaction, fairness to all concerned, and make sure that everything is positive so that they have an opportunity to serve that client again. Perfect. Thank you so much, Gary. Erin, do you have anything to add just from, I guess, what you're hearing on the street?
Pretty much everything that Gary mentioned and you did, Nick. The one thing I would say is talking to the clients that are moving over here from other states. We have offices everywhere, so we see a lot of that especially the Northern California market coming over. Mm-hmm. And again, they are looking at where can I live that's going to be conducive for me to work from home. And they're looking at homes differently for sure. And then, of course, yes, the people that are currently in their home going, okay, what do we need to do to change this so that I can adapt and live this way? I think the one thing I would share, though, is how it's definitely affected the family dynamics out there. How the moms and dads out there that are staying home with their children because we don't have, some of them may have school, but a hybrid type model, or, how are they able to teach their children? And one of the things I've kind of noticed is more of the buyers are looking at areas for their children to learn. So it's not just an office space, but a learning space. Yeah. So there's been some of that's come up quite a bit with the real estate community, and hopefully, we'll be able to accommodate that as the future holds.
Absolutely. Well, Erin and Gary, I appreciate you joining me today to talk through some of these items that are going on and look into the future. But I think in summary, what we can agree to is we learned a lot in 2020. We've raised the table stakes of performing in terms of digital engagement in a variety of ways, whether it's loan transaction through the, looking at homes to, of course, how we're closing homes and adapting to that in the title and escrow side, as well as, just paying attention to the needs of our mutual clients, understanding their changing perspectives and how we can work together as teammates in this industry to help them move forward appropriately. In conclusion, I do want to take the opportunity to announce a fantastic program that Greater Nevada Mortgage has been working on for quite some time, and it has been officially released. And that is Keys to Greater. And I would encourage anybody to go to keystoGreater.com. Again, keystoGreater.com to learn more. But now a portion of revenue from every mortgage that is closed through Greater Nevada is going to go to the Eddy House as we work diligently to combat youth homelessness in our area. Greater Nevada found that it's not just our mission to help people get into homes. Our mission is to provide home ownership. And that's not limited to mortgages and the buying and refinancing. That commitment for us extends to simply giving someone a home to come to at night. And we felt that while transactionally every day we help people get their actual homes, we wanted to spend a good portion of our money and our time just helping people have a roof over their head and giving them a greater chance at a better life. And so Greater Nevada Mortgage has officially partnered with the Eddy House in a very significant way. And we will be giving them at a minimum 25 grand per year, but at the rate we're going, we're going to go well past that in our contributions. And so we are very excited to announce Keys to Greater and encourage all of our partners to go ahead and check out the website. You won't be remiss watching the couple of videos that are on that website. They're incredibly powerful. So we look forward to that. The two of you have always been very involved in the community, and I know support as well. And I appreciate all the efforts, Erin and Gary, you have done outside of your normal business to give back to the Northern Nevada area. And with that, we are concluded for this episode of Greater Conversations. Erin, Gary, thank you again.
Thank you, Nick. It's been a pleasure.